See, this is why you gotta be careful with those corporate tie-ins, because I don't even want Olive Garden anymore. That's saying something. Hey there, Cinephiles. Today I'm reviewing the Garfield movie. First thing I gotta say is, what in the was that? This is probably one of the worst versions of what this movie could have been. There's product placement galore, stuff is just kind of happening. There's 3 Tom Cruise references. Just who on earth was this made for? You can't even truly give the excuse that this was a kid's movie, because are kids even going to like this? In my press screening, a lot of families were there and kids maybe laughed once or twice at most, at least for what I could hear. I'm genuinely left scratching my head. Who's the exact target audience for this? Just because overall it feels like a major mess. Overall, this is a movie about Garfield and his reconnection with his father, and all of the overabundance baggage and adventures that come with it. There's so many points during its runtime in which I found myself asking, why am I here right now? It got to the point where I was so over the movie that I was basically fighting sleep. From the lack of actual fun energy coming from the movie itself to the lack of energy in that audience, I just didn't have a great time. Basically, the most fun I had watching this movie was the fact that me and my friend that I took along for this screening, shout out Jeff, practically perfectly guessed the first 5 minutes of this film. The rest of the time, I just felt like I kept losing my mind more and more as it kept going on. And even then, in the first 5 minutes, I felt like my mind was already starting to lose itself, because the opening felt like a theme park ride pre-show. And I gotta say, for all of the issues I had with this movie, prior to the film, my biggest issue I thought was going to be Chris Pratt's casting. Turns out he's just fine in this. It's whatever, it's inoffensive, it's bland, but it works to a degree, I guess. He doesn't add anything to the film, and in fact, he's probably really lucky that there's so much wrong with this movie that he's just able to skate by. And look, I wasn't highly anticipating this movie by any stretch of the means, but I was hopeful that this could at least be a fun little time. But no, it decides to be this unfunny slog of a time that's way too long and doesn't even really have anything visually great to look at. I just felt so blah walking out of that theater. There was just nothing really redeeming about this movie, like at all. The best thing I could say about this movie is that it's okay at times. And even then, that's usurped by so many moments and surprises that aren't good surprises in the slightest. Is this movie going to do very well this weekend? Probably. A lot of kids are starting to get out of school, and I don't know, parents aren't going to take them to Furiosa. But in reality, with my very low expectations going into this movie, it somehow still disappointed me and proves that sometimes my expectations need to be completely rock bottom. This unfortunately was the cat's meow, if the cat's meow was a nasty hairball. I give the Garfield movie a 1 out of 5 stars. It's so insane to me, all of the weird directions that this movie ended up taking. When I was a kid, there was this Garfield cartoon that I used to really like, and now it's just whatever this is. Also, they set up John to have this journey to find love at the very beginning of this movie, and they never follow up on that. Now that's the love story that deserves more screen time in this movie. But alas, we'll see if this gets a sequel. At the very least, there's a post-credit scene that's not fully a scene. You'll know what I mean if you watch this and stay during the credits, which the credits are also something else, because they had some pre-viz stuff in that credits, and But alright, those are my thoughts on the Garfield movie. Be sure to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Also, let me know if you guys have also seen the Bill Murray Garfield movies from the early 2000s. Me and my friend had an over-under on whether or not Bill Murray would be in this movie at all, and to my knowledge, he's not. But alright, as always, thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Be sure to stay tuned for Rated Films content, and I'll catch you later.